welcome back. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to tell you a wee trout pattern tonight. It's just basically an olive sedgehog, only it's a UV straggle. Sedgehog, that wee fly there. So I'm just going to show you how to put it together. The hook in the vase is a Amazon B175 size 10. I tend to fish these. This will float, you know, even though we're tying on the more sort of a heavier traditional hook. Will float, but basically when I'm fishing these, just my own personal preference, I'll fish these sort of a subsurface, just below the water line, if you like. Anyway, the thread that I'm going to use to tie the fly is Uni Thread 80 in black. So we'll just come in, we'll start our thread at the end of the hook. I'm just running down a bit of thread until sort of we get to the barb, if you like, and then remove the waist tag of thread. Now the sedgehog, the deer hair, is just in 3 or 4 parts, and that's just going to be olive. It's just deer hair down olive. So just get a wee pinch off to get us started. Just going to stack this. Now you don't have to stack it if you can. As I was saying, you don't have to stack it. You can take it off the hair the way it is and put it on. The fly will still work. I just like to stack it, and I'm just going to measure it sort of the length of the body. You just pinch and loop your thread, keeping a hold of your tips. Don't let the tips go, and then just tighten up, coming through your deer hair. Don't worry if the deer hair spreads are about. Just keep a hold of your tips. Then you come in and gather your cut ends and trim those away. Don't get them all the first time, just go back in again. At this stage, just hold your tips again. Just tighten up over the cut ends and open turns. Bring your thread just back down, tight up against your first bunch or your tail, if you like. Now the body is going to be the UV straggle. That's it here, and this is an olive UV straggle. Comes in many different colours: orange, claret, red, silver, gold, cinnamon. Cinnamon's a good colour in it. Now I'll just cut a bit of this off, just offer it up to the hook, much to the same length as the cut ends of the deer hair, and then we'll just wind this up much like you would do a tinsel body or a floss, just stroking the straggle back as you come up that first part. Keep it really tight. Follow this around with your thread. Nice tight turns to tie this in because it's thick stuff, thick fibre. Trim that away. Anything that wants to go forward, just stroke it back. Get a couple of thread turns in front. Then we'll go back to our deer hair. Cut another wee bit off. Just going to stack this again, guys. Just pop it into the hair stacker. Give us a rattle. Once the tips are lined up, which they are, you can remove it from the stacker. And then just offer this up. I want the tips of this to be till the same length as the tips that I've tied on the back. Just come in and hold these again. Come around with a pinch and loop. Very nice and tight. Keeping a hold of your tips. Don't let those go. Just come through the deer hair. Just never let go of the tips, in my opinion. I always keep a hold of the tips. Then I just come in, gather as much of the cut ends as I can. Trim those away. There'll always be 1 or 2, but you can always just break those off. Same again, just come back and hold your tips. Open turns over the cut ends. And back up into position. Then we'll go back to our UV straggle. Just any wee ends, just cut those off so we can tie them in. Just catch in your UV straggle. Deer hair there, take that away, we strand of it, and then just Bring your thread up over the UV straggle, and then just the same again. It's probably best just to try and brush or stroke back the straggle that's on the cord. Stroke that back up to there, follow it around with your thread, a couple of tight turns, and then trim away the excess. Straight back till our deer hair again. They're good wee flies, these UV straggle. If you don't have UV straggle, you can always use dubbing or blend your own dubbing and put some UV material into it. Give us no rattle. Looks messy at the minute, but it'll come together at the end. Same again, after the tip's up, the same length at the back, come in, hold your tips, around with a pinching loop, nice and tight, don't let go of your tips. Just gather all your deer hair. I think some people shy away sometimes from working with deer hair and tying these, sedgehog type patterns, but the more you sit and tie, guys, I've said this before, the more time and effort and practice that you put in, the more that you'll get out of your fly tying, in my opinion. So let's take that wee bit away. Then we'll just come in with the last bit of UV straggle. Just catch that in, and then just come around with your straggle again. We deer hair there, I caught, so we fibre. Just bring that back. Sorry about the fingers. Then just one turn in front of the other. Now I'm going to put another bit of the deer hair on, but you could, you can finish off with a hackle, sorry, Amanda's saying, at the front of this as well, which I will do to show you. So anything that wants to go forward of the eye, just come in and stroke it back. Bring your thread to the eye and back up over the top of any of the UV straggle. Just go back to your deer hair. Small pinch. Take that away. Clean it out. Just any of the old under fur that's in it. Pop it into the hair stagger. Give us a rattle on the desk. All the tips have lined up for us. Take it out of the hair stagger. Staff it up to the hook. Right. Pinch and loop. Nice and tight. And come in. Lift up your excess deer hair. Trim this away. Nice and tight. And then we'll just tidy up over the cut ends here. Right, I want to put a hackle on the front. You don't have to put a hackle on the front, you could just finish off with your head there, and that wee fly will still work. But just to show you, this is just a medium claret Chinese cock hackle. So good to put the hackles on for when you're pulling the fly through the water, just to give it that wee bit more movement. A couple of turns catches in the tip, working my thread back up over the top of the tip, break the tip away. Just come in with your scissors. I'll stroke back the fibres for you, and then you're just looking to do one turn in front of the other. I love tying these wee sedgehog patterns. Yep, don't do me there. Following it around with my thread. A couple of tight turns in. Just going to come in and trim away the stem of the hackle. Anything that's going to stroke it back forward, just stroke it back, and then just bring your thread up, just to tidy up my head here, keeping the thread tight. I'm just going to come in and throw in a whip finish. Pull the thread nice and tight, come in and trim away your tan thread. Now, have a wee look, see what way we're sitting. That's looking grand, I'm wrong with that. So just come in, just some clear varnish on the head, right the whole way right round. Bit of wire on my desk as always. Should really get this desk tidied up a bit. Just make sure that the eye is clear of any varnish. So look, there you go guys, that's just a wee olive UV straggle sedgehog. If you like, you can tack, like I say, many different colours. You can tack claret. If I was going to tack claret, I would just use natural deer hair. Tat an orange, do an orange body, black deer hair, you know, many different colour combinations. So look, hopefully you've enjoyed that wee video and you've got something out of it. Hopefully you can tie a few of those up for the new season ahead. As always, many thanks for taking the time to view the video. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. It helps the wee channel out. And until next time folks, stay safe and tight lines.